If you're out there and you're nervous about, okay, I don't know AI, all I've heard about AI is stuff in film that's usually purposefully dramatic and negative, and I hear that this is a good idea, but I'm not too sure. There's something really comforting, I think, in knowing that you can also dip your toe in. So just start with a subset of your services and being a part of the platform and see how that experience is. And we know you're going to love it and it's going to work and it's going to be great for you. Hello and welcome to Exploring AI with Arghon. I'm Lauren Brown, Arghon's Chief Creative Officer, here today with Collie Brown.
Hi.
By the way, if you hear a little difference in my voice, it's a change in seasons and my throat is reacting, so do not be alarmed and continue to listen. Thank you. All right, so thanks for being here with us, Collie. Let's talk about small businesses. All right, so the first question I have is Arghon designed for small business, and what would you consider a small business?
So yes, the short answer is it is designed. We actually thought about small businesses as we were designing it.
Like mom and pops?
Mom and pop. So whoever you ask about small businesses, it has a range. But really, the definition we're going to use for small businesses, those companies that don't have much of a technology. It's usually mom and pops, but there are some slightly larger companies, maybe 50, 70, 100 employees, that also can afford the high-level technology, AI technology, or the integration with AI platform. So we built for those people. We would classify them in small business as well.
So it's kind of like the entrepreneurs who are doing well, but they're not in some major corporation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Why should these small businesses be interested in being on an AI platform with larger businesses like Amazon being huge drivers behind AI? So, it's right now the conversation is all big business. So why should a small business be interested in it?
The platform, the e-commerce platform, is going to change drastically. But AI commerce is going to become the dominant force, and a lot of these small businesses have a good chunk of their sales come through the e-commerce platform, and so it's going to affect them as much as it's going to affect the bigger companies.
Yeah.
The visibility is with the big companies because they're the ones the media writes about. But if you're a small company, in let's say Tucson, Arizona, and you sell 40% of your business, let's say you have $1 million business a year, and you sell, half of that is through the internet. That's a significant chunk of your business. So, it's really important that they also start thinking about what does this coming AI, essentially revolution, is going to mean for my business. For starters, the way we interact, the way we get things now, where we go into a search engine, type something in, which is an open platform.
Yeah.
That's going to be gone when the AI commerce kicks in, and so that's why they have to start planning now.
Well, that actually makes me think of a question that definitely will be in another conversation, but I also wonder with net neutrality if that's going to also be a bigger push for why small businesses should get on AI platforms.
Net neutrality, yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to affect because you can imagine, for example, a small business, and they can't afford to actually pay any
massive fees
to
be able to funnel public towards their
exactly. And it's really about the speed and prioritizing, and they're already in a compromised position. Now, here's the thing. So for all those politicians out there who think that, it's a dog-eat-dog world, well, let me ask you this question. The vast majority of the jobs are created by small businesses. So when you put small business at a significant disadvantage, what are you really saying? You're saying, I'm putting all these jobs at risk. So net neutrality is a powerful thing, and it's necessary for these small businesses to thrive. Otherwise, it is going to be a totally unmitigated disaster. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
What's the difference between getting on the system if you're a large business versus a small business?
So
the Arghon system.
The Arghon platform. She's referring to the Arghon ecosystem. So when we designed Arghon, we designed it for two large groups. The small mom and pop shop, the ones that aren't that technical, small business, and then the big businesses. So what happens is the big businesses, there are some advantages to being big, obviously.
Yeah.
You can have technical people, and the platform is designed that you can push the limits if you are a big business. In other words, if you have technology guys who can do serious integration, that'll give you more access to things, more AI capability. But that, it's not what we created for the small business, where it's not more configuration.
More configuration. Explain.
Meaning that you don't have to code as much things. You can just
so
set
these
some
smaller
values.
businesses that are getting onto the platform will actually find it really easy to integrate with such an advanced technology because we've essentially created an environment to work with them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because again, a lot of them can't afford a programmer, or 2, 3, 4. They might be able to.
Or the management and maintenance of
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. So that platform, so that platform that we created for them is as powerful as the other one, but you have more flexibility when you can totally customize something.
I mean, so if I were a small business, I'd be saying, I'd be comforted because what I'm hearing is, although you've designed so that you can do these huge things, you've definitely thought about the impact for the small business who's got the 10 to, let's say, 100 employees, and what their needs are, and they're not going to become an anonymous number or a faceless company in a crowd. They're actually going to be acknowledged and find that their services and that advantage that AI brings of having the connection with the user is going to be something they too experience. It's not just for the big guys with the big name.
Right, and to add to that, there are assistants out there. There are like various platforms that are in the AI space. From companies like Google and other places, but those guys are designed primarily. Their focus is on the big companies. Honestly, I mean, how often do you hear them talk about small mom and pop operations? Nothing. It's like crickets essentially.
Yeah.
So
they're overlooked.
They're overlooked,
and they shouldn't be.
Yeah, and they shouldn't be because it's a significant portion of the economy.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk the next question. What would it cost for the average small company to get on the Arghon ecosystem, so our services platform? What does it cost for them to get on that system?
You can break the cost up into two aspects. One is them preparing themselves. A lot of small companies, they sell things, right? And they really don't, depending on how small they are and how they set up their business, they may not even have, they may not even have computers. Well, maybe not everything, their products and services categorized on a computer. So there's that organization, which means you have to understand what you're selling. You have to be able to have the information that the AI is going to need.
Yeah.
So that's the first part. So that's one cost. Now, if they're running their businesses correct, that should be 90% of that should be there. The other part of that, though, is so how do we tie the two together? Well, what we did was in Arghon is we realized that a lot of these small companies aren't database experts, for example.
Yeah.
So, but they know that they have this data. So what we did was we said, look, we may have to reach into their system and actually grab the information and categorize it
and organize it on their behalf.
On their behalf.
Yeah.
So that's how that's the other part of it. I mean, overall, if a small company wanted to get on the system, it would depend on how many products they have. But it's not a long process. It's just that they have to first wrap their heads around the fact that they want to do this, and that make sure that they have their data is at least in some manageable database.
When you say it's not a long process, what do you mean?
So you can roll out on the platform, on the Arghon AI platform, the ecosystem, in stages. So you don't have to, day one, you don't have to have everything there.
Yeah.
You might pick a few products and services and say, okay, we're gonna integrate that into the AI, and then from there you just slowly build up until you have the whole portfolio on the AI.
Well, I think that's great too, because I think if you're out there and you're nervous about, okay, I don't know AI, all I've heard about AI is stuff in film that's usually purposefully dramatic and negative, and I hear that this is a good idea, but I'm not too sure. There's something really comforting, I think, in knowing that you can also dip your toe in. So just start with a subset of your services and being a part of the platform and see how that experience is. And we know you're going to love it and it's going to work and it's going to be great for you. And from there, when you say, okay, yeah, I'm totally ready to commit to the full AI experience, then you're putting on all your services, all your products, and it's a natural progression. So there isn't this, the fear of risk actually is mitigated when you talk about, being, because for a small business, it's a big risk, any decision that they make, because there's far less of a cushion to make these decisions. The choice to sign on to a business or to work in a certain region can be the difference between, success or bankruptcy. So when they're talking about AI, we know that these, for these small businesses, it can feel like a much larger question than, say, a Fortune 500 corporation that's got so much buffer zone to make these decisions fail and start over. So when you're talking, what you're saying is that, or what I'm getting from you, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Collie, is there is a handheld experience there where we're talking about partnership. When they join, they're getting an AI partner. So when they have questions, when they need to know, how does AI fit my business, they're going to get those answers. And it's not from a perspective of, I'm trying to sell you this, or we're trying to get you to just buy this product regardless of if it's useful. You said at one point, there's a customized experience there. So if your business needs something as a small business that's not the same as your neighboring small business, then you get what's right for you and not them. And that customized working with you to understand the product, to really maximize your offerings is a completely different experience, I think, to what's typically out there regarding businesses in general and in the AI discussion. Because most companies, what you're going to find, like when you talk about like a larger company like Walmart joining with a Google, really those are two companies out for themselves, and who knows how that's going to work out. Chances are it won't work out too well for the company that doesn't have the AI. So when you're talking about like, a small business now that's going, I'm not those guys, they can feel even more confident because they know us. I mean, you've seen us. You're actually seeing people who you'd be interacting with. And there's more, don't worry, but you're also getting a kind of customized care that's far more personal and connected to your needs as a business. All right.
Right. We're not a very large company yet.
Yeah.
But the point is that we from day one, and you will see from other things that we have built in other videos that will be covered, that we actually built the business on serving companies and serving people.
Yeah.
So that's critical. And so what's going to happen here is you are going to get, as you said, you're going to get that customized experience. And we're not going to overlook you because you're a small company.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Like, we have the empathy of being a startup. And empathy is not something you hear about a lot in business. Because truly, it's so much more of a competition, and I know that a lot of small business owners can feel the competition as a painful, like, I've got nobody to connect to, I've got no way to I can't reach out to the next guy because then I'm giving my trade secret. But because Arghon is AI, it's so different. It's a new platform altogether. It's not competition, it's partnership. So you get the comfort of partnership in addition to having that experience. Now I'm going to move on to the next question because we could be on that part and the ethics and camaraderie of business all day. Is Arghon available outside of the US?
Yes. So Arghon, the platform itself, is designed for worldwide use. So if you're a business in England, for example, or you're in Australia, or even, let's say, your business in Canada, the AI platform is for you. Your small business, it's for you. So yeah.
Okay. There you have it. We're global.
Plain as simple as that.
We're global. All right. So the last question I have here: if someone is interested in coming onto the platform now, what should they do?
So the first order of business is, so I'm assuming that if you want to come on the platform, you probably watch a few videos. So you kind of have some idea of who we are and kind of
what's offered.
That's right. What we typically try to do is we try to come in and do a quick consultation, so that, because What we want is and this goes back to how we take care of people. So what we want to do is we want to make sure you understand the opportunity, the risks, everything from an AI perspective. We want to make sure that you are an expert from your perspective for your needs. So that consultation that we have is to come in, we'll talk AI to make sure that, the way we see it and the way you see it line up.
Yeah.
And then of course we, migrate from there to more detailed, specifically what you want to do, how you run your business, and we will go into more details about the platform. And so that's typically, we work that way, because what we find is a lot of companies, big companies, large companies, small companies, no matter what they are, they really don't have, this AI experience for them is new. And, while they have smart people, it's just not in their experience.
Right.
So that's why we said, look, one of the first things, whether you're an investor in us or you are a potential client, a partner, it's important that that initial consultation cover the AI, the platform, the changes that are coming, and then from there we take the next level, which is to say, okay, now that you know what's coming, now that you know kind of like what the lay of the land is, okay, we want to do these things. And so the consultation will go from there to the actual, at some point we sign the actual papers, and of course we start the integration. And that integration process, most of the integration is going to be on your side, on the other company's side, because we've built a very well tailored ecosystem, so that the integration efforts is minimized on our side, and we can concentrate on helping you to make sure you get your platform, you get your environment ready for AI. And a lot of companies think, okay, so we have a website, we have a few things, we're ready for AI. Not true. Not true. It's so different. It's so different than that experience. For one thing, the companies that are going to get the most out of AI tend to be the ones that can provide the richest experience.
Yeah.
And that is not something you get necessarily on a website. And there's lots of things that you need to do behind the scenes anyway. So, but it's a start. If you have a good website, that's a start, because it gives you a framework from which to build.
Okay, so just to summarize, you're saying if they're interested in joining our platform, go to arghon.com, check out our press kit, and you'll have there's a lot of contact information there. Reach out to us. You can reach out to us even on social media, direct message, because we're here, we're available. At Arghon AI is how you'll reach us to have your needs and discussions met. So thank you so much, Collie, for being here for this discussion, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Share this channel with your friends, your networks on social media, to everyone you know. If you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up, and follow us on our social media handles, which you'll find in the bottom of the box below. And thank you so much for watching, and see you in our next video. Bye.
Subscribe to this channel, where weekly we'll explore what it means to connect to your world through artificial intelligence. And to be part of the Arghon journey, follow us on social media.